Hello students, my name is Rajiv Jha. I'm going to start a new lecture series named Induction Machine. You know, induction machine is very popular in industries, and in this video you will learn induction generator and its application, and I hope you will like this video. Let's continue. So this is the topic induction generator and application we will discuss here in this slide. Okay, so start from. So we see the induction generator. So as we know, induction generator, that means it converted mechanical to electrical power. Okay, and by using of induction principle. So first of all, we see two type of induction generator here. So there is a two type of induction generator. First is self excited or isolated induction generator. Second one is the induction generator which is connected to infinite bus bar. Okay, so what is the basic difference in between of these two induction generator is, in self excited induction generator the excitation is given in the form of reactive power. Okay, so in self excited induction generator the excitation is not taken from the transmission line. Okay, it is taken from the external system, external resources, but it is not taken directly from the transmission line. Okay, then second one is self excited induction generator. The load is directly connected here. Okay, okay, so the second one is induction generator which is connected to infinite bus bar. In this case the induction generator is not directly connected to the load. That means induction generator connected with bus bar, and then bus bar is connected with the load. Okay, then second one is, in this type of induction generator we will see the reactive power supply or reactive power taken from the reactive power taken from the bus bar or transmission line alone. That means there is no external system is connected with the for fulfill the requirement of reactive power, uh, which is taken for reactive power for the you can say the static rotating magnetic field in stator winding. Okay, so these type of arrangement, by doing of these type of arrangement we differentiate two type of induction generator: isolated induction generator and induction generator connected to infinite bus bar. Okay, what is the requirement for induction generator? Here we will discuss the requirement of induction generator. So first requirement is, any induction machine is a singly excited machine. What is the mean of singly excited machine? That mean uh, here the stator winding always get the supply and rotor winding either short circuit in case of the squirrel cage induction motor or induction machine. Okay, so in case of the squirrel cage induction machine, the you can say the rotor circuit will get short circuited. Okay, and in case of the wound rotor, the rotor circuited is connected with the resistance, external resistance. Okay, so in both cases there is no any sources or excitation given to the rotor winding. So this is called the singly excited machine. Second one is that it is continuous, continuous excitation is needed. That means either we talk about the motor or we talk about the generator, in both cases always it absorb or receive reactive power in stator winding to magnetize or to get the rotating magnetic field. Okay, so in excitation, here we also write it down. In excitation it always takes reactive power only. So what is the role of reactive power? The role of reactive power is only magnetize the stator winding. Okay, then fourth one is, it only generates active power. Okay, so in our further slides, upcoming slides you see how induction generator only generate the active power. That means it cannot produce reactive power. So in case of the separate or you can say the isolated induction generator, in that case we will have to give separate reactive power source to fulfill the requirement of the load, because requirement wants apparent power. Okay, any load we will talk about, either we talk about the fan or we talk about the you can say any television or AC, refrigerator, all the cases, all the load wants, so you can say apparent power. That means it wants active and it wants reactive power both. But in induction generator it only generate the active power. So how it is fulfill, and how the in what arrangement we fulfill the requirement, we will see in our further slides. Okay, in this slide or upcoming slide, we discuss how the induction motor is different with the induction generator, or what is the differences between the induction motor, the working principle differences on the basis of working principle actually in between of induction motor and induction generator. So here you see there is an arrangement. This is the stator. Okay, this is the air gap, and this one is the rotor. This is the rotor conductor. Okay, and here the conductor is connected in stator winding. In stator actually, this is called the stator winding, and this is called the rotor winding. And this three-phase supply is given to the stator winding. Okay, so in stator we consider two pole machine it is, and N or N and S. So we know the Ns equal to 120 F upon P, and if it is 50 hertz and the pole is 2, then the synchronous speed or rotating magnetic field speed will be 3000 rpm. Okay, so when we give the supply, what happened? When we give the supply, what happened is, you see there is a supply is given, and the magnetic field is generated in the stator winding. Okay, so due to this, the rotating magnetic field is rotating at the speed of ns, and if we consider here two pole, then in that case the speed ns speed is 3000 rpm. Okay, so now what happened then? Okay, it is rotating, then due to electromagnetic induction principle, by using of Faraday law, we will see the rotor is stationary and this one is rotating. So if we add the rotating magnetic field at stator, we see rotor conductor are moving opposite direction. Just like you can say, if a train is moving fast, so the slow train, when you are on the fast train, then you see slow train will get your direction of you can say the direction of movement, relative direction of the movement of the slow train will be opposite. Okay, so here it is stationary, here it is something is moving, this is the stationary point. So if you are sitting on this train, then you see this one is moving opposite direction. Okay, so here the motion is this. So when we use the Faraday law, you can say the Fleming left hand rule. So due to Fleming left hand rules, we see the current direction will be upward. Okay, here we show the Fleming left hand rule. The motion is here, the magnetic field is here, so the current is upward direction. Okay, when we again apply these Fleming right hand rule, this is the one is the right hand rule. Remember this right hand rule for the generation and left hand rule for the motor. Okay, so here also you will get the cross, here you will get the dot. Cross means current is inward direction, dot means current is outward direction. Okay, so you will get the current here, the direction of current actually. What happened next? So by using a screw law, you see when the current is you can say coming from this and going towards this, in that case the magnetic field, or you can say the pole, is generated at the rotor, and that pole is north pole here and south pole here. Okay, so now you see the torque. देखो, okay, let's see. This one is the north, this one is the north, so north and north repel each other. Okay, so the movement will be like this. North and south attract each other, so repel is so the rotation is like this. South and south repel each other, that means the direction is this, and south and north attract each other. So this type of you can say the rotation or torque is developed here. Okay, and rotor is rotated at clockwise direction. This one is called the clockwise direction. So in clockwise direction the rotor is rotated, and the torque is developed like this. This one, that developed torque. Okay, so torque is also developed in the direction of rotor, that means it is also a clockwise direction. CLK, clockwise direction. So in this case, when here we see, this is the case of motor. Why it is motor? Because at motor we know NR will be less than NS. NR should be less than NS. So this is the case of motor. Okay, in this case the torque is positive. Let's assume this clockwise direction of torque is positive, and let's assume this power is positive. Torque is positive and power is positive. Okay, so the next one is now we are going towards the generation portion. So when the rotor is rotating from NR to NR speed, then if we you can say connect the prime mover here, if we connect the prime mover here and rotate this rotor at NR is greater than NS, NR is greater than NS, that means the rotor speed, if rotor speed we increase and it reaches greater than you can say the greater than with synchronous speed. Okay, in that case what happened, this speed is greater, or this is the, you can say the fastest train, and this one is the slowest train. So so here the slowest trains, when you are on the slowest train, then you see the rotor conductor is moving this direction. Okay, so rotor conductor is moving this direction, that means rotor conductor is moving this direction. So if we apply the Fleming right hand rule, in that case you see their pole direction or pole is changing. You see in your previous case the direction of pole is here in right hand side you see north, left hand side you see south, but in case of the generator you see here it is north and here it is south. So that you can say the direction of the pole is changed, along with direction of current is also changed. Okay, so but what change actually, the poles, stator magnetic poles are similar, that means reactive power is not changed. Reactive power is you can say reactive power is receiving again in the case of the generator, but active power, which is you can say which is due to the rotor, so the active power is changed here. The direction of active power will get changed. So in previous case active and reactive power both receive, but in this case only reactive power is received in the case of generator, and reactive power will get supply. Okay, so here we see this is the direction of active power. Okay, so through this way you understand what is the difference between motor and generator in case of the, you can say, generator. Now we are going and understand the first type of induction generator, that is induction generator connected to infinite bus bar. So in introduction we see first we run machine to the form of induction motor. After that we run the machine with induction generator. That means first we start the motor first we start the machine as a motor, then after that we disconnected the load and connected the prime mover, and then we speed up the rotor speed from nr to greater than ns. Okay, in that case we will converted that machine into the induction generator. So reactive power supply by infinite bus only. Here you see the reactive power will get supply by infinite bus only. That means there is no other arrangement is given. Like here you see there is an infinite bus system. This is the you can say the arrangement for the reactive power supply. So the from transmission line you see the supply is given to the generator only, and when the generator is producing the active power, so from this way it fulfill the it also supply the reactive power, and we will get the here the we will get apparent power. Okay, so we will discuss again actually. So here the application, what is the application of induction generator connected to infinite bus? So first is low head hydroelectric power plant. In this case we will use induction generator connected to infinite bus system. Okay, so it does not require synchronizing or no separate excitation is required here. Okay, that is the best thing for these type of you can say low head hydroelectric plant. This type of infinite generated connected to infinite bus system, there is a no need of separate excitation is required. That means in through bus bar we will get the reactive power. Okay, the second application is to supplement power received from weak transmission line. What is the weak transmission line links? Actually weak transmission link some of the remote area in which we cannot you can say spread out our transmission line better. In that case, in that area if you take the example that is hill area, so in that area we are not you can say afford that to largely spread out the transmission line. In that case, in that area we use the induction generator connected to infinite bus bar. Okay, so next one is here you see this is a transmission line. Okay, the supply is given first. Here it will get the first it will be started with the motor, then it will start then it is converted to the generator actually. So in this case the stator winding get magnetized through the reactive power, then active power is given supplied through this, and this one is the reactive power supply. So these reactive power supply first it so there is a two role of reactive power supply actually. First is to give the supply to the induction generator stator winding for magnetizing purpose, then second to get to give the supply to the load. Okay, so through this reactive power supply we will get two type of arrangement. First arrangement is given to the load given to the induction generator stator winding to magnetize the stator winding actually, and the second current or you can say the second reactive power is given to the load through which it fulfill the requirement, because load wants both active power and reactive power. Okay, so here you see the active power is you can say generated, and through this reactive power is given. So through this way we will get the total power or apparent power. Okay, so what is PA? PA is called the this one is the PA is called the supply of generated active power by induction generator. And what is PR? PR is the supply by capacitor bank. Okay, so there is a two type of arrangement. This is called the variable capacitors, and this is called the capacitors alone, fixed capacitors. Okay, so now there are three concepts you should have to know before understanding the induction machine. Okay, first one is NR should be smaller than NS, second one is NR equal to NS, and third one is NR, that is the rotor speed, should greater than synchronous speed. Okay, NR should be less than NS in case of the motor. That means active and reactive power both are positive. That means both are it takes active and reactive power both. Okay, NR equal to NS, that means reactive power is positive because of we need continuous magnetization, we need continuous excitation actually. So reactive power is positive, and active power supply by prime mover. And the third one is nr is greater than ns. That means this is the case of the generator, so active power is negative and reactive power is positive. Okay, so next one is, so what is the working principle, we already discussed. Okay, so here there is a two mode we discuss actually, motoring mode and generating mode. So in motoring mode, what happened, the speed and whatever discussed in our previous slide, we write it down here actually in generating mode. So one more thing we want to discuss is, in generating mode the slip is negative, and in motoring mode the slip is positive. Okay, why it is negative? Because nr, the value of nr is greater than ns, so in that case we will get the negative slip. Okay, then due to negative slip there is a lots of you can say the differences occur actually. Due to negative slip we will get the negative power. Due to this negative slip we will get the negative current. Okay, because current, emf and power, these are depends on the slip actually. If slip is negative, current is opposite, that's why the current, the you can say the direction of the current is changed in our previous slide. E is the emf is E directly proportional to s. Okay, so slip is negative, so emf is negative, and power is negative. That means that their direction is changed. That means first we take active power or reactive power, apparent power, and then we supply the active power, so the direction of power will get changed here. Okay, what is the comparison of modes actually, motoring mode and generating mode? So in motoring mode we see slip is greater than 0, that means slip is positive, active power is positive, reactive power is positive, current is positive, and the electromagnetic torque is positive. Okay, in case of the generating mode the slip is negative, active power is negative, active power is negative, and reactive power is positive, and current is negative, and electromagnetic torque is negative. So these are the important comparison. If you want to note it down, then pause the video and note it down this, for getting for you can say the getting the good notes. Okay, the second way, if you are not understanding this, what is induction generator yet, in that case we are going to you can say give you explanation with more familiar way, that is speed torque characteristics. Okay, through speed torque characteristics we pointed out 3 points, A, B and C. Okay, so in A point the slip we will get the full load slip actually. In this B point the slip, the value of slip will get 0, and this one is the C point. C point, the point where push over torque is produced, that means where the maximum torque we can achieve for sustain operation. Okay, so here we see point is called the operating point at full load, motoring mode. Point B at point where motor attained the synchronous speed. Point C maximum torque that can apply to induction machine, now working as an induction generator. Okay, so here we talk about the what happened. So suppose that three-phase induction motor is coupled to a prime mover whose speed can be controlled and have operating point A. Okay, what does that mean? So if we consider some full load is connected here, and if full load is connected, then in case of the motor, then in that case we will get the slip, that slip is called the full load slip. In that case, the if we further increase the prime mover speed, okay, prime mover or load, if we unplug the load and you can say connect the prime mover, in that case if we increase the speed of the rotor with the help of the prime mover, in that case operating point travel from A to B. Operating point travel from A to B. Why it is A to B? Because speed is here, the speed is something which is not equal to ns, and if we further increase the you can say the rotor speed, in that case they slip, or you can say the point is operating point is travel from A to B. So at B what happened, the slip is 0, So when prime mover attains synchronous speed ns, the slip is 0 and operating point is b. So for prime mover speed above synchronous speed, now we are talking about this point, that means b to c. Okay, from b to c, what happened? You see, ns to ns, that means it is the speed where we assume that the speed should be greater than synchronous speed. Okay, because this portion is called the, this portion is in between the band of ns to ns actually. So for prime mover speed above synchronous speed, slip becomes negative. Okay, slip becomes negative. So rotor current, rotor emf, rotor electromagnetic torque will be negative. What is the negative actually? E negative. I told earlier, E negative because of slip negative, E negative. I negative because SE2 upon R2 plus JX2 SX2. So if S is negative, in that case, if S is negative, in that case current is negative. If S is negative, in that case torque is negative. So negative speed is negative slip, torque will get negative and opposite to the prime mover torque. Okay, so torque is negative, that means opposite to the prime mover torque. In that case it is called the it is the act of generator, because prime mover, if the speed of the torque, direction of the torque of prime mover and the direction of the rotor torque is same, in that case this is called the operation of motor. If direction of the you can say the prime mover torque and the direction of the rotor, if the direction of torque of rotor, if it is opposite, then it is called the case of or condition of generator. Okay, so here we see the generator cases, and because it is work on the it is not working on the synchronous speed, that's why it is called the, what happened. Okay, what happened or how much time we, so here you see the point of c. So this is called the maximum torque we can achieve after this, or if prime mover give greater than with this torque, if prime mover supply rotor to greater than this torque, in that case generation action will get vanished. So try to remember this is the important concept actually. So the second one is self excited or isolated induction generator. So it does not require excitation AC supply system for obtaining magnetizing reactive power. That means we do not need any supply from the transmission line actually, or the bus bar. We just have to arrange. Here you see there is an arrangement done. This is not from the transmission line, it is the arrangement done externally. Okay, externally we connected the capacitor bank, and through this way it gets the magnetization, or induction machine get the, or induction generator get the excitation. Okay, so we know this is the prime mover, so we know n is greater than ns, that means rotor speed should be greater than ns. In case of if you deal with the induction generator, in that case you will have to rotor speed should have to greater than synchronous speed. That is the must condition in any induction machine. Okay, this one is the first condition you will have to follow. The rotor speed should be greater than synchronous speed. So in this type of induction generator also this condition is valid. So what is the difference between in the from the previous one? The difference is only this one is not supplied, or this reactive power is not supplied by the bus bar or any transmission line. That means it is externally we will have to arrange this. Okay, the you can say the main fundamental, or you can say the main important term important point of this induction generator is how the voltage build up in this induction generator or induction machine. So it is follow that as like a DC shunt motor is similar with the induction motor actually, this type of induction motor. So here you see how the how these type of, or how isolated induction generator build up the voltage. So we know this is the magnetization curve, okay, without using of capacitor bank. So there is a variation you see. Magnetization in magnetization, this is the residual flux. Due to this the voltage generated here due to the residual flux, and at the time of some there is a saturation point is coming at there, the current is increasing but the voltage is almost constant. This is all about the magnetization curve. So here you see when you use the capacitor bank, in that case you will get the linear. This is a C1, C2, C3. Okay, C1 is greater than C2, C2 is greater than C3. So these type of capacitor we have to connect it with for balancing the for giving the reactive power actually. So the main point is, if for given voltage as capacitor increases, so current also increases. That means I directly proportional to capacitance. So if we want to increase the current, if we want to increase the capacitance, in that case, or reactive power, in that case the current is also increases over there. So that is the important point, you should have to follow this. Okay, so the next one is, okay, how the voltage build up actually. That is the main thing, main important thing you should have to see, learn here. Okay, first of all, what happened? So through magnetization curve we know there is some residual flux is available in the core. So due to this the voltage is generated. So the voltage generated here, that means if voltage generated OA, then again because I equal to V by Z. So if we have a voltage and we have a impedance, or you can say that is, in winding we have a impedance actually. So due to this the current is formed, that current is OB. Due to this current, again we can say through Ohm's law V equal to IZ. So the voltage is generated, that voltage is, due to this current, that voltage is BC. Okay, so due to this BC, again we will get the current. Okay, that current is called the OD. Due to this OD current, we will again get the voltage DE. So through this way, the voltage is generated or voltage is developed in this type of induction generator. And this one is the graph in between of the magnetization curve and the capacitance actually. So this is the capacitance, we know this is the linear, should be linear actually. So when we connected this to here, you see this is the point. Through this way the capacitor value is decided through this you can say the induction generator, how much reactive power is demanded by the induction generator. So when this cross section is get, so this point is called the you can say the demand reactive power. Here you see the voltage is here the voltage is greater than, then we if we if we you can say increase, if we increase sorry, if we decrease the voltage capacitance, in that case, if we decrease the capacitance, in that case voltage is also decreases. Like in this you can say formula, you see if we increase the capacitance the current is increases. So current is increases, that means voltage is also increases. Okay, so the same thing we will see, if you decrease the capacitance the voltage is also decreases here. Okay, required voltage, remember this. Here you see you give the reactive power, but your magnetization curve is not cut this reactive power curve. This one is not cut by this magnetization curve. In that case there is no any voltage developed. That is the important thing you will have to remember. That mean if you supply less reactive power, so no magnetization formation happened, so there is no voltage formation in this type of induction generator. Okay, that is the main thing you will have to remember from this graph. Is if somebody say okay, I have give reactive power, so the magnetization is created, so we will get the you can say the voltage develop in the induction at the induction side, induction generator side. But that is not happen if the magnetization curve is not you can say touched by the reactive power supply line. In that case we are not we didn't get any you can say the voltage output in induction generator or at the output of the induction generator. So these type of thing you will have to, this is the important thing actually, you will have to consider it. This is the important one, okay, from this graph. Now, so Im is greater than E is, so that means if EMS or voltage increases, so the magnetization is current is increases, okay. So due to this the capacitance, so if we increase the capacitance, then more magnetization increases, we will get the mean more EMF we have. So at C4, after increasing capacitance, will not get magnetizing current, that means no EMF generated here, okay. Here you see at C4, after increasing capacitance, we will not get magnetizing current, that means no EMF generated. So what happened when residual flux is zero? That means here you see, due to this residual flux we will get the OB current. So what happened when these residual flux is not there? That means in very initial condition, what happened? So in that case we will have to first start that machine into with the induction generator, induction motor, then we will have to switch to the induction generator. So in when it start with induction motor, in that case there is a residual flux is generated in at the you can say the stator core. In that, after that, the if we start the induction generator process, in that case we will get the output of you can say develop, we will get the some voltage output or some developed power, active power at the terminal of induction generator. So what is the disadvantage of this? First is they always require considerable amount of reactive power from exciting supply system, existing supply system, sorry. And then second one is efficiency is relatively poor. Third one is it can work at leading power factor only. Why it is work on leading power factor only? Because it receive reactive power, and when somebody receives reactive power, so it can work at leading power factor only, okay. So these are the common thing. Efficiency is relatively poor. Why it is poor? Efficiency is relatively poor because we know efficiency is output upon input. So the lots of losses is continuously maintained due to the stator core losses, actually continuous we will have to given. So due to this losses is increases, so the efficiency is relatively poor. And so at the last, thank you. And if you have any queries, let me know, and let me know in my or comment box. Thank you. So that's it of this video. I hope you like this video. If you have any queries or questions, mail me